Welcome to our PxPlus 2023 video on using the query system, part 6 of our 7-part series. The PxPlus query system provides a number of search-related functions, from a simple file lookup to smart list generation and charting. We will start by creating a simple lookup for the customer table. Open the Screen Library Object selection and select New Query from the toolbar. Enter the query name you want to create, cus.q. You will be asked the type of query you want. A standard query is used for file lookups. A queried list is intended for use by smart controls to autoload a list of records and includes less details. We will use a standard query. In the query header definition, we will use the Table Lookup button to select the customer table. The system will populate the key drop-down list. Here, you can select which key you wish to use. In this example, we will use the default of customer name. You can now select the fields you want included in the query. Click on the plus sign to the left of the table name to show the list of fields. Double-clicking on the desired fields will add them to the query display. Save, then close to complete the query definition. We can now add this query to the data dictionary for the name element in the customer table. Clicking the button to the left of customer name brings up the element description and properties. Choose the Query tab. Enter the Screen Library name for the query, then select the query we just created from the drop-down list. Once the query has been added to the data dictionary, the next time the customer maintenance page is displayed, it will include a lookup button for the customer name. Let's do another query, this time for a lookup on the product file. We will select the fields we want to display in the query. Instead of a full screen display, we want this to appear as a drop-down selector. This would be similar to a drop-down list. To do this, we need to change the query header information. Selecting the Options tab, we can change the query view to a drop query, then save the definition. Adding this query to the product code in the products table, the maintenance page will now show a drop arrow instead of a lookup icon. Clicking the drop arrow will display the query contents in a small container below the input field. Queries can also be used to populate smart lists. Let us create a smart list of orders on the customer maintenance page. To create this smart list, we will access and link 4 tables together. Starting from the order details, we will access the order header. From there, we can link to the customer table using the customer number. Also, from the order details, we can link to the product table. This will give us details such as product name and product line. We are going to use the new File Link Express feature found in PxPlus 2023. This will simplify the definition of the linkage between the various tables. To start, select the File Link Maintenance option from the IDE. When launched, the Link Maintenance utility will display all the existing links to find in the system. Press the Link Express button to access the new utility. File Link Express allows you to select a table and then find all other tables that reference it based on having the same fields as are contained in its unique primary or alternate keys. For example, we can select the Orders table and the system will automatically find the related order details table and link the key expression using the order number. Click the Add checkbox in the Make Link column, then press Apply to establish the linkages. We can do the same for the customer table. However, in this case, since we changed the primary key to the customer name, we will need to select the alternate key customer number, as this is how tables link to the customer information. The last thing we will do is add a link to the product table from the order details. When you return to the File Link Maintenance, you will see the linkages that we have established in the system. With the links established, we can now create the query for a smart list box. We will enter the query name and select Standard Query. The main input will be the order details table. From the query definition, we will select the Add Link button. Clicking the link button in the first column allows us to select any of the file links that we just created. First, select the order details to the order header table, then the link from the details to the product table. When the links have been selected, the file elements list will show all the tables you now have access to. Select and drag the elements you want to the column list. You can double-click a column to adjust the title, width, and formats to improve the list appearance. As this query is going to be used to show orders for a specific customer, we need to add a filter on the customer number. In the select logic, we will add a test to only select those records whose customer number from the order header matches the currently selected customer. We can now save the query, then call up the Customer Maintenance panel and select Fields. Step 6. Enter a new tab named Sales, then, using the Add Object button, select Smart List box. Select the query we just created from the list of panels. From the list of controls, select the variable customer number as a trigger for updating the list. This variable will be passed to the query and is used in the filter we set up. To avoid the list being loaded when there is no customer selected, we set a conditional triggered test requiring the customer number to be non-zero. Click Finish to rebuild the HTML file. The new Customer Maintenance page will now show a Sales tab containing the output of the Smart List. As you advance through customers, the list box will be refreshed according to the query definition. Queries used in Smart Lists can also be used for Smart Charts. We can start by selecting our Smart List query and then clicking the Define Chart button. If it's new, the system will ask to create the chart definition file. Then proceed to the chart wizard. The back and next options at the bottom of the panel are used to navigate within the wizard. The first step is to define the name for the chart. You can then select the chart type. For our example, we will select a pie chart. In step 3, you need to define what data you want charted. For this chart, we want the sum of the items ordered. Next, we can select how we want the data grouped. We will select the product line. This will provide us unit sales by product line. No additional filtering is needed, as this is handled by the query. The chart is now defined, so we can add it to the File Maintenance page. We can now call up the page and head over to Step 6 to add the chart to the Sales tab. Click on the second column to identify where to place the chart. Then, using the Add Object button, select Smart Chart from its drop-down list. Identify the chart we want to use by selecting the panel and chart name from the lists provided. Add a triggering condition based on the customer number, same as we had on the Smart List box. Now, since we are adding a pie chart, the default height of 10 will likely not be enough. We will increase this to 20 to provide ample room for the output. To make sure the list box and chart align, we will adjust its height also to 20. One last thing, in order to allow the Smart List columns to be resized, we will change both the left and right columns from fixed width to flex. If we now call up the Customer Maintenance page, the Sales tab now shows a chart of sales by product line as well as a detailed list of sale for the client. This concludes the presentation on using the query system. Hopefully it will give you some ideas on how you can use it not only as a lookup function, but also to present lists and charts within your application. Join us for the final video in this series, where we'll discuss using the PxPlus 2023 Report Writer with Webster Plus.